This is La Banquise in Montreal. It's turned this stretch of Rue Rochelle into a tourist attraction by offering more than 30 different kinds of poutine and by giving Anthony Bourdain one of his favorite meals in the city. But until 1990, this block was drawing hordes of people to something much more unusual. There's another tourist attraction, this one created by someone who'd been exploited since he was a child, but who turned that around and owned it in a most unexpected way. This is Canadiana. Phillipe Nicol was born in 1881 in Lévis, Quebec, the seventh son of his seventh son. His father was 6'3", but Phillipe was born with dwarfism. He would spend his entire life under 3 feet tall, and in the late 1800s, that meant appearing in a sideshow was one of the few career paths open to him. He wound up working for P.T. Barnum, the king of freak shows, and the Shakespeare of advertising. Nicol learned fast. He started selling signed photos at his shows. They made him more money than his salary, and he saved that money so he and his wife Rose could pursue their own dream. The Nicols moved to Montreal, where they tried to get permission to build a new attraction in Parc La Fontaine. They were rejected, but they didn't give up. Instead, they bought a building here, just a few doors west of La Banquise, and turned it into this. It really was their primary residence, but by using the lessons they'd learned from P.T. Barnum, they turned it into much more than just a home. They billed themselves as the Count and Countess Nicol, king and queen of all the midgets, the world's smallest couple, and the richest of all the dwarfs. Every object in their palace was scaled down to suit them. The furniture, the kitchen appliances, even the piano. Tours were offered to those who wanted to feel like a giant for a day. For a nickel, you could marvel at the snug interiors and the daily life of little people. But the palace was far more than a sideshow. Behind the showmanship was a genuine desire to reveal the experiences of the marginalized. By opening their home and their lifestyle, the Nicols wanted to destigmatize themselves. They just wanted to make money doing it. They were wildly successful. Busloads of people arrived for every tour. The palace became a Montreal landmark. The Nicols were able to run the business until their deaths. And their legacy didn't end there. The palace carried on for years to come, run by Huguette Rioux, another little person who'd been working at the palace and she'd had trouble finding any other employment in Montreal. Rioux, who became the founder of the Little People's Association of Canada, downplayed the spectacle even more, focusing on education and reframing the palace as a museum. She rented out some of the small rooms as a hotel for little people, and even tried to realize one of Phillipe Nicol's grander visions. She imagined an entire village in Parc La Fontaine, a community of workshops producing the scaled-down goods needed by little people around the world. But the stain of the palace's sideshow origins was soaked into the public consciousness. There was too much opposition to a project that many saw as just a bigger, gaudier version of it. And eventually, the palace itself fell victim to the changing times. Here on Rue Rochelle, where it once stood, you'll find nothing but a couple of condo units. The Nicols had been born into a world that told them they were freaks, that their only option was to be exploited by others. But they turned the tables. They took a game designed for them to lose, and they went and won it. Rose and Phillipe had a child too, Phillipe Jr., and his story is also a very interesting one. I'll tell you about him in a second, but first I want to thank you so much for watching. If you'd like to see more episodes and you haven't already subscribed, you can click subscribe now. You can also follow us on social media at This Is Canadiana. And if you'd like to give us some monthly support, you can become a patron on Patreon or give us a one-time donation on PayPal. It means so much to us. We have so many more stories to tell, but to do it, we do need your help. Now, as for Phillipe Jr., he was born when the palace was at the height of its popularity, and he very quickly became integrated into the story of the place. They called him the Prince of all Midgets, and claimed in their brochures that he was the only viable child ever born to two little person parents. Life in the public eye might have taken a toll on him. and his story takes a sad and weird turn. He ended up using a toy gun to hold up a tobacco shop and a cab driver before disappearing from history forever. And who knows, given his age at the time, he might still be out there somewhere today, an old man on the run. I'm Adam Bunch, and I'll see you next time on Canadiana.